This on now? Okay. Let's call the meeting to order, and we'll have Amy do the roll, please. Here. Okay. We have a quorum, so we can move forward. First thing we'll do is review the minutes from the April meeting. Motion, all in favor? Motion carries. Okay, let's move on to the financial reports with Jordan and Mandy. Jordan, we'll start with you.
Good enough? Good enough for numbers? Okay. So, yeah, $20,513 in, $9,791.98 out, for a net income of $10,708.15. So $4,100 above budget for the month of April. Turn to the next page, you'll see the P&L for January through April for the A&P Commission. Total revenue of $71,678.63. That's right on line with the budget. And expenditures of $42,640.36, ahead of budget by $13,000 and change. See, that leads to a net income of $29,038.27. So roughly $11,000 ahead of budget. Largely, you can point to the funding that has not quite taken place yet through this part of the year. On the next page, you see the Event Center P&L for the month of April. Big month, you got revenue of $70,935.09. Operating expenses of $35,816.21. And then capital expenditure of the LED lights change out of $2,494.78 for a net income of $32,624.10. So a great month for the month of April. I feel like I'm at a press conference here with all these mics. So January through April, the Event Center has brought in $252,623.92, right there in line with the budget. Total operating expenses of $159,207.79. That's ahead of budget by a good deal. And then total capital expenditures to date, $50,026.57 for a net income of $43,389.56. So roughly $15,000 ahead of budget. And then finally, the focus group revenue for the month of April, $22,134.50, right on line with budget. And then for the 4 months ending April, the focus group has received $78,034.86, just ahead of budget. And then, of course, it's made its one installment to the soccer complex of $50,000 for a net income of $28,023.76, excuse me. Again, ahead of budget just because that second installment that we anticipated has not yet been made.
Okay, any questions for Jordan? Okay, we'll move on to Mandy, please.
Yes, if you'll keep going and look over at your bank account balances sheet, you'll notice that these are all of the checking account balances for the month ending April 30th. First one is your A&P Collections General Account. That's our sweep account. All of our collections go into there, and then they're split out into the following accounts after this. At the end of April, there was $10,962.44. 50% of each monthly collections goes into the A&P Large Project Checking. At the end of April, there was $1,950,783.52. 20% goes into the Small Project Checking. At the end of April, there was $1,402,415.50. Then 10% goes into the next three accounts. First one is the A&P General Operating Checking, $158,855.12. The Benton Focuser Group checking at the end of April had $685,538.67. And the Benton Event Operating Checking ended the month with $517,418.13. The last account on the listing is the Benton Event Center Savings Account, and that ended the month with $392,169.15. If you will go to the next page, you will see our collections account. If you will notice, there's something special at the bottom of that. This is the first time that we have hit over 200,000 for our monthly collections. So that's an amazing accomplishment. If you will look at that, that is a 1.5% increase over last year's collections, but it is the first time that the A&P has hit $200,000 in a month. As far as the delinquency account is, there are 13 current accounts that are delinquent that will go into the paper this month.
So Mandy, refresh me again on the delinquent account.
There's not a listing inside of your account. There was a couple I was hoping would pay before today, before I put that in your packet. There is one of them that is to the delinquent part that we probably need to have a hearing. So
I would
I'll go ahead and, if you guys are okay with that, I'll go ahead and start the process of sending them
How far back are they?
to November.
November, okay. I think, yes, we need
Okay.
to begin the process now.
Okay.
Are y'all in? Okay, any further questions for Mandy? Okay, motion, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. So let's move on to our funding request, first reading for Old Fashioned Days. Anybody to talk about it? Okay, looks like they are requesting $6,000. They are repeat, oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's fine.
I didn't realize, I was just sitting here because Dustin Parsons couldn't come. And, we're doing Old Fashioned Day again this year, but we're doing it, last year was really big. We really blew it out, and the Everett's helped us a lot too.
Okay.
And this year, we're gonna make it even bigger. We're going to make, or we're putting together, Michael Schiff is helping us put together an old fashioned after dark.
Okay.
And do a street dance on the streets and keep the bands going and have like trying to get maybe a little beer barn going. And we've got bands lined up till about 8 o'clock, maybe 8:30.
Okay, awesome.
But doing something like that, and we've got even more vendors than we got last year. And so we're really just gonna blow it out again.
And it's scheduled for, I assume that's a Saturday, October 11th?
It
Is that
is.
correct? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're gonna keep the same long hours. We extended them last year because the Bryant Fest decided to do theirs on our same day. And so we extended the hours to like 2 o'clock, and we're gonna do the same thing again this year because everybody stayed. You know, the vendors were still there and the people were still there. So I think we'll probably shut it down from like 2 to 4 and then get everybody out and then start setting up for the evening.
For the evening, so it'll
Yeah.
be a dual
The
event.
first annual.
Okay. That's a nice time of the year, so that would
It
probably
is.
be
It'll
very,
be nice, and people can bring out lawn chairs and listen to the music and street dance, and I'm gonna get all the downtown people involved, you know.
so we are requesting $6,000 for advertising, is that
Yes,
correct?
please.
Okay. Any
And I
questions?
used it very wisely last year, I
Okay.
promise.
Great event for the city. Any questions?
gaining ground.
Yes, we actually had, Matt said we had more than, Bryant. Last year, so I'm gonna keep on going. But we went out to the whole county. I was all over this place. I was from Haskell, giving out flyers out to East End, and I'm gonna do the same thing this year. And you'd be surprised how many people in our county that's never heard Old Fashioned Day. Like, you're from here and you don't know what Old Fashioned Day is. And so, yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing it and blow it up.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Well-
but add the after dark.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, if no further questions, this is the first reading, so
Okay.
in our June meeting, we'll actually do the vote. Okay,
Very good. Thanks,
Okay.
y'all.
appreciate you coming. Thank you. Okay, so let's move on now. Nikki will give us a report on the Benton Event Center. Broke the million mark, so. Any questions for Nikki? Well, thank you, Nikki. Just as you can see, this is a well-utilized facility, so thank you very much. Okay, let's move on now to the report on the development of Exit 114 property. And with that, I'm going to have Dan from McClellan Engineering come forward. There's a letter in here that's kind of in our packet that will be also available on the website, kind of discussing what Dan's going to propose.
Thank you, Bill. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here to kind of give you all an update. I know I've done it a few times in the past. Caleb Zimmerman's with me, who's helping out on the project. I'm Dan Baronic, president of our local office here in Little Rock of McClellan Engineers. You saw the letter that was in there. We've gotten to a point now where we feel like we're ready to start the process of moving forward with the project. We have submitted our application to the Corps for our permit. They're hoping to put that out on public comment at the end of this month. There's a 30-day comment period, and then there's a process for how that permit gets worked. While that is happening, to be concurrent and kind of continue the process along, what that letter that's in your packet says, and what I recommended to Bill was let's go ahead and advertise for an early dirt package, which will basically kind of look like what's happened out there now with our neighbor project. We would get a contractor on board to do the beginnings of our project, not the final project, but they would come out, install their erosion control, they'd start moving dirt, and try to kind of have that ready. We'll work with the city on how that works as far as the bidding. We'll bid it just like we bid any other city project. We'll advertise for 30 days. We're hoping to have that package out about the end of the month, take bids after that period, which will be about the end of June. And then due to the unknown of when that permit from the Corps is going to be issued, we're going to put 120 days on the ability to hold. If we get that permit the 4th of July, well, we'll be ready. If we wind up not getting that permit until the beginning of August, we'll still be ready because we'll have a contractor on board and ready to go. And that's not uncommon. Typically, we do bids and we hold bids like this for 90 days. Lots of times we're in a rush to kind of start, so it happens faster. But some of the projects that we work with, when there's permitting or a funding source involved, we typically will do 120 days. So that's kind of where we are. We're about 50% in our overall design, but we're comfortable with where we are on the dirt and where that is. We had to get to that point so we could kind of share that with the Corps and let them know what we were going to impact.
And this is for both the RV park and the soccer complex, the preliminary dirt work.
Correct, yeah. And there's a benefit to, we're not connected to the guys that are doing the dirt work down there, but obviously if you have a contractor that's close by and you have a bid come up, there's a benefit because they're already close to being on site and they may give us a better price than another contractor who has to bring all his equipment and get dirt. So we wanted to kind of capitalize on that too while they're out there working. Maybe we can get even better numbers for y'all to move this next phase of the project forward. Got other specifics, but if y'all have questions, I'm happy to try to answer any of them. So we probably won't have much of an update in June, but I would think by the end of June, we'll have some numbers that we'll communicate with Bill. Mandy will know him because she'll be at the bid opening, but we'll give an update to Bill and Gary, and we'll probably meet with them on some other kind of just design pieces this next month anyway. But then maybe in that July meeting, we can kind of give you an update on where the numbers lie and who we're moving forward with if we've got a good bidder. If you have a question, we'll stick around for a few minutes. Looks like we're towards the end.
We're going to need a bid. A motion to. Got a motion with a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Let's get work. Okay. Okay, so let's move on to old business, AMP Marketing Committee. Happy to report, and on one of our previous meetings we put out that we were going to hire a marketing person that will work with the AMP Commission, the Benton Event Center, and the Chamber. We're happy to report Steve Brown's not here today, so I can't give the details on that, or I don't know if anybody, but we have hired a young lady that is a Benton resident. Her name is Rachel Rivers. We're looking forward to her starting this coming Monday. So she'll be hopefully at the next meeting that we can introduce her live to the commission. But we're very, very excited about, she actually is hitting the ground running even before she started. She showed up at the Business Expo the other day just to see what it was all about. So she's eager to start working. So we're looking forward to her working with our advertising agency and we'll kind of move forward to that. Any questions on comments from, yeah. That, any other business do we have? You want? For people that don't know you, No, you're good. Mhm. Yeah, we have a lot going on, so it's gonna be exciting. We're looking forward to all the projects and everything going forward. Thank you for being here. Okay. Any other business that we have? Okay. All in favor? Motion carries. We are done.